Hey, and welcome to Dr. G Speaks. I am Dr. Kristen Guillory, and I am so very excited to help you experience a life of freedom, faith, and fun you may not even realize is possible. Listen, I know you feel held back, I know you feel stuck, and I know you are hiding. As a coach and the author of Look, Stop Hiding, How to Find Your Voice and Never Dim Your Light Again, you will get to listen to some amazing stories, receive some homework, that's the professor in me, and get some tools to help you live the life you deserve. It's time to quiet the noise and walk in the fullness of who God created you to be. It's time to stop hiding and start thriving. Together, we'll uncover your potential and ignite your journey to a fulfilling life, a life of freedom. So one of my former clients and I went for a walk at a track, and she asked me the question, so Dr. G, with all of the people you help and everything you carry and everything you do, how are you able to do this? Like, not only how are you able to do this, how are you able to do it in the way you do with the energy and the capacity? And my response was, well, I do a lot of things. I have a lot of things in my wellness and self-care plan, but one of my top 5 things that I do is I allow myself to feel what I feel all the way through. Now, this is something that I've allowed myself to do for years, and I didn't recognize the power of letting myself feel the feeling all the way through and allowing myself to be radically honest with the feeling or what caused the feeling or with what is going on. Listen, I think one of the greatest mistakes people make is assuming every feeling must be acted upon. Now, when I say I let myself feel the feeling, I let myself feel the feeling, but I may not do anything else because of it. Now, listen, when you have a feeling, it's got to go somewhere. I may not lash out, I may not do something else, but I've got to do something. I've got to let myself feel it. So listen, you can feel angry and not lash out. You can feel sad and not give up. You can feel afraid and still move forward. You can be disappointed and still trust God. Emotions are messengers. They're not masters. They're not the leaders of your life. They're messengers. Things for you to say, I'm feeling this way. I'm going to let myself feel it. And why am I feeling it? Even if you want to question it, maybe you don't want to question it. Allowing myself to feel my feelings psychologically, this is called emotional processing. I believe processing is so important. I remember a couple of years ago, I was talking to someone, and this is a person who has a very high stress job. And they were talking about their week, what was going on at work, as well as what was going on in their personal life. And I encouraged them to process. My encouragement was, even if you can't process every day, can you take 10 minutes a week to process? And the response was, listen, processing is a privilege. Everybody can't process. And that was their truth. It wasn't for me to push back on their truth. And I said, well, processing is also necessary. And a few months later, we had a conversation and they moved into a place, not only processing, but went and started working with a psychologist. Processing is something that is necessary. It is necessary. Even if you, again, can't do it every day, can you earmark time during your week to say, okay, every Wednesday at 7 p.m., I'm going to give myself the permission to process what I went through, to process what I experienced, what I saw. For me, I allow myself to process if needed every day. Every day. I mean, listen, it doesn't even have to be something that is really significant. I let myself feel and process it all. Just recently, I was out at a lake house hosting a client intensive, and I normally stay for a couple of days after the intensive is over. And I ordered something on Amazon. I ordered dates. Dates is one of my new favorite foods. My family judges me. It's okay. So I ordered some dates and a few more things. I was so looking forward to my dates. I get the notification, package has been delivered. I'm looking everywhere. I even go into the neighbor's yard thinking they put it over there. Nothing. So I call Amazon and they say, oh, we're going to resend it. Great. The next day, I'm looking for it. Nothing. I call Amazon again and they say, oh, we don't have any record of the second delivery, like even being placed. You got to be kidding me. What? And so I hung up. I was frustrated and I let myself feel that. Now, being frustrated over some dates not being delivered was not going to impact me in any way in 1 week or even in 2 hours. But in that moment, I was frustrated that I didn't have my dates and I let myself feel it all the way through. Because here's what happens when we don't allow ourselves to feel, to process, it goes somewhere and then it snowballs and it can manifest in the most unique way, in the most unique circumstance, and in the most unexpected time. Like, what was that? Where did that come from? Probably some residue from something you might not have processed. So I let myself process it all. I remember one day last year, I just started feeling sad. I was feeling sad because I was aware that the Lord was moving me in a direction to redefine a friendship. And I felt sad and it felt heavy. And I went and drove somewhere and I let myself feel the sadness because I knew it was coming. I knew the redefinition was necessary. Just because it was necessary doesn't mean that I wasn't sad. And so I remember sitting in a parking lot for 20 minutes and I just felt the heaviness of the sadness and I let myself, I think I even shed some tears because pushing it to the side was going to do me no benefit in the long term. Now, sometimes there are times when we need to compartmentalize, when we need to push it to the side and say, I can't deal with this right now. I can't process this right now, so I'm going to do it later. Just please don't let later be a year. Please don't let later be a month. Please, if you can, don't let later be a week. Because I have seen and walked with amazing people who allowed later to become 10 years and 15 years. And the number of times I have heard, I don't think I ever dealt with that. I don't think I ever processed that. Time does not heal all things. It would be amazing if it did. It would absolutely be amazing. And it doesn't. It's what you do with the time. There's some pain that will never fully go away, and some pain that seems to be at the same level that it might have been 5 years before, 2 years before. Every day, there's a chance that there is some facing and some processing that hasn't been done. It does not mean the pain won't be there, but there's a chance that maybe you haven't given yourself permission to face the emotion, to face the radical truth and say it out loud. I am angry. I can't believe. I am frustrated. I am confused, whatever it is. Y'all, suppression doesn't eliminate feelings. It doesn't. As great as people may think they are at pushing things to the side, oh no, I don't worry about that. I don't deal with that. I don't feel those things. You're telling yourself a lie and you're allowing yourself to believe a lie. A feeling ignored is not a feeling gone. A feeling ignored is not a feeling gone. Now, sometimes we have feelings that are not based on what is really happening, it's based on where we are. It could be that you are late for a meeting and you are angry at every person on the road. You want to cuss them out. It has nothing to do with them. It has to do with you are late. And so the feeling is there, but you're taking it out on the wrong people. I'm late. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Let me breathe. Like, say it, feel it. I'm frustrated that I'm late. I'm angry that I'm late. And if you take it out on the people who are driving, they can't hear you. Hopefully, you're not driving aggressively, hoping you're not harming people, right? So, feeling ignored is not a feeling gone, it's simply a feeling stored. Many, many people have become experts at dismissing, minimizing, rationalizing, spiritualizing instead of feeling. Some examples of this is it's not that serious. I shouldn't feel this way. Other people have it worse. I'm blessed, so I shouldn't be upset. Y'all, what the nervous system doesn't operate on should. It responds to your reality. Your body knows what you're feeling, whether your mind admits it or not. When you tell yourself something is not that serious, that is you probably trying to convince yourself that you shouldn't feel the way you feel. Yet you feel the way you feel. If you've ever said, I shouldn't feel this way, but here's the thing, you do. I remember many years ago, it's about 14 years ago, I was having a conversation with a woman who unfortunately was sexually assaulted by a leader at the church she attended. And we're having a conversation. And I said to her, I asked the question, are you angry? Because there was a lot of anger in her, rightfully so. And her response to me was, I shouldn't be. I said, but are you? She said again, but I shouldn't be. I said, but are you? She said, yes, I'm so angry. So be angry. Her thinking was, I'm not supposed to be angry because I'm a Christian. First of all, Jesus flipped tables. Second of all, the Bible does not say don't get angry. It says be slow to anger. And watch this. If you get quick to anger, if you quickly are angered, we can go in prayer and say, God, be with me during this time. And there's also a thing such as righteous anger. So this woman was telling herself, I should not be. Have you ever said to yourself, well, other people have it worse, as a way to minimize how you feel? I did that. I've actually done that recently in a situation where there were a lot of things that I learned, many ways that I grew, and it wasn't fun. There were some hurtful experiences in this. And I would say, oh my gosh, well, I know it wasn't as bad as what that group of people go through. I know it wasn't as bad as what they go through. In a way, what I did not realize is me saying that was me not fully allowing myself to sit in the hard that I experienced. Perhaps it was harder for others and it was hard for me. I'm blessed, so I shouldn't be upset. Or I am upset and I know God is with me. Where in the world and where in the word does it say you can't be upset if you're blessed? And I know some people would say things like, oh my gosh, I'm living an amazing life and I shouldn't have anything to complain about. You appreciating your life does not mean that you are not human and respond to things happening. For example, if you go on vacation and you expected an early check-in and you made that request and you get there expecting the early check-in and the early check-in is not ready, you have the right to be disappointed in that moment. And you go and look at, okay, early check-in isn't ready. I was really looking forward to being there. I am disappointed and I'm on vacation. I'm going to check my luggage into concierge and go enjoy the lobby. That's a level of emotional intelligence, not dismissing that you're disappointed, but also not catastrophizing. Oh my gosh, life is over. I can't believe it. And I've seen that happen. I've been on cruises where we're in a long line, like the line is really long, and the folks in line are complaining the entire time. The entire time where I put on my earbuds. Do they have the right to complain? 100%. Absolutely. You have the right to complain 100%. And I'm frustrated. We're in this line and we're in this line getting ready to get on a cruise ship. Being able to put the and in there allows for both realities as opposed to I'm going to complain the whole way. And I've seen people do this. I've seen people allow one situation to ruin a beautiful experience. I've seen it. I don't think people mean to do it, and I've seen it. Y'all add the and in this thing. Add it. Listen, your body knows what you're feeling, whether your mind admits it or not. What isn't processed emotionally often shows up somewhere else. And I know you all have been there because I have been there. Irritability, exhaustion, anxiety, numbness, overeating, undereating, isolation, overworking, being short with people. Y'all, the feeling always collects rent somewhere. Whether you think you're doing a good job, you're doing a good job. Whether you think you're doing a good job or not, if you are not allowing yourself to process the feelings, they're going to come out in some way. Y'all, feel your feelings. Feeling is not the opposite of faith. Very recently, my sister, the amazing Danielle Guillory, Dr. Tanya Cunningham, and Hilton Young Sr. hosted an event called Faith and Feelings. Not faith over feelings, faith and feelings, basically saying faith and feelings operate together. Feeling is not the opposite of faith. So, y'all, this is where believers sometimes get confused. Y'all, faith is not pretending. God is good all the time. I'm blessed and highly favored, knowing that you are broken on the inside. And not that you have to tell everybody your business, but are you at least admitting it to the Lord and yourself? Or are you trying to pretend? Y'all, stop doing that. How you doing? I'm good. Are you really though? Like what? Faith is telling the truth and trusting God simultaneously. Going back to my and ministry. I'm hurt and God is faithful. I'm disappointed and God is good. I'm scared and I trust him. I'm frustrated and I'm going to pray. Or you could say I'm frustrated and it's hard for me to pray. I'm scared and I don't know if I trust him right now. I'm disappointed and God, I'm irritated, right? That even in those statements is a prayer. God, I'm so frustrated with you. Y'all, in prayer, I have told the Lord, God, I don't want this. I don't choose this. I've even said, God, I will take the consequence. I don't want that. That's prayer. God can handle it. God, I'm so confused. I'm so frustrated. I don't want this to be my story. And God is like, I hear you. Thank you for sharing. God, I don't understand. And I'm doing my best to seek you. Even in that statement, talking to the Lord like that is prayer. Many folks think that faith requires deleting the first half of the sentence, which is your feeling. Many people think that you got to be fake with how you feel. Y'all, it doesn't. Faith adds to reality. It doesn't deny reality. God is aware that you're going through something confusing and difficult. God is aware that you are so grateful and you're irritated about this one element in your life. God is aware that you are still broken and you are still grieving, even if you haven't admitted it to anybody. Say it out loud. Be radically honest and let yourself feel that thing. You wanted that promotion, you didn't get it. Allow yourself to feel. When people say it'll be okay, you know what? It will be. And in this moment, I'm sad. In this moment, I'm sad. When people say, oh, you won't even worry about this in 1 year, that's fine. In this moment, I'm sad. After a breakup, when people say, oh, you'll just find better, in that moment, you're not focused on better. You're sad or angry or frustrated. Let yourself feel the feeling in a healthy way. Pray, seek wise counsel, talk to someone. So, y'all, I have been reading Psalms 51 to Psalms 100. And I really didn't know that, like, that area of Psalms was a masterclass in feeling. Like David is writing these Psalms, and listen, David didn't sanitize his emotions before bringing them to God. In Psalms 51, David is overwhelmed with grief, conviction, and sorrow. He doesn't hide. He says, "Create in me a clean heart, O God." He's honest about where he is. Psalms 55, David talks about fear and trembling. He says, "Terror has overwhelmed him." That's not weakness, that's honesty. Psalms 56, David says, "When I am afraid, I put my trust in you." Notice he did not say, "I'd never get afraid." He says, "When I am afraid." Fear existed, trust existed too. Psalm 56, David says, "When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I." Again, overwhelmed, not pretending, not performing, not denying, feeling fully, trusting fully. Psalm 62. David teaches us to pour out your heart before him, not edit your heart, not polish your heart, pour it out. David's relationship with God was built on radical honesty. And as I was reading this, because I am someone who does a lot of work with men, I remember thinking, I wonder why there aren't more sermons or more messages about David being mentioned at men's events when men, quote unquote, we were never taught how to feel. We were never taught this. David is an example right there. Prime example. Y'all go read the Psalms for yourselves. Go sit in it because David is feeling, and God, you see this, you know this. He is even boldly praying in a way that I wish more of us would today. God, you see this and you got to handle them. God, you see this. I need you to do that. God, you know this. Like it was a declarative way in the prayer. God, I am scared. You got to get them. I don't know. His truth in the moment. See, y'all, allowing yourself to feel creates capacity. And this goes back to my client's question. How do you do what you do and the way you do with all the people? Allowing myself to feel creates so much capacity. I don't often have distractions. I let myself feel. I let myself feel. Sometimes people assume capacity comes from strength. Y'all, I think capacity comes from space, comes from clearing. When you consistently process emotions, they don't accumulate. It's like you have a room that needs to be cleaned, and instead of organizing the stuff, you go and stuff everything in the closet. You've just pushed it somewhere, but you add one more thing, everything is going to come out. I'm not carrying last month's disappointment. When you process, you don't carry things that you could have released a while ago. Now, don't get it twisted. I am not meaning the loss of a loved one. I'm not meaning that. That pain, in some variation, that scar, that wound is going to be there. You're not carrying last year's heartbreak, 10 years of resentment. You're letting things move like a river. The river stays alive because it flows. The swamp stagnates because nothing moves. When you don't allow yourself to feel what you're feeling, nothing moves, which means there is constipation, which means things are just accumulating, which means things are eventually going to come out and probably not in a productive way. Y'all, some of you are exhausted because you're carrying emotions from seasons that ended years ago. It's when I watch different shows, specifically on dating, and people will ask questions and say, my ex, we broke up 5 years ago, and this thing he did to me, and I watch and immediately know they didn't allow themselves to process. There was a woman that asked a question. She said, my ex-husband, we divorced 20 years ago, and I don't understand why he is already married to his third wife. How is he already there? And some of the people's responses to her were, ma'am, you got to get over this, A, B, C, and D. And there was a gentleman that said something essentially like, you haven't processed this. And folks on the panel were, no, it's been 20 years. It's been long enough. Again, time does not heal all wounds. You have got to face it and process it. And there's a chance that woman never fully faced how devastated she was after her divorce. There's a chance she never really let herself sit in the sadness, the anger, the grief, the frustration. Y'all, let yourself feel. That phrase, hurt people, it literally is true. Because sometimes the person who is hurting the people, that hurt sometimes has come from unprocessed stuff. You are hurt because this situation happened, or this person wasn't around, or you went through this, or you went through that, and you did not allow yourself to face the sadness. And it gets a little bit trickier and murky when some of the most devastating hurt occurred when the person was a child. And so they may not know that they don't know. Nevertheless, feelings being put to the side don't go anywhere. So if you are someone, and there's some hard stuff that happened when you were a child that you have not faced, that you have not allowed yourself to feel, I want to encourage you to go to God in prayer and ask Him to direct you to a space that will allow you to do that, where you are safe, a counselor, a friend, a mentor with the Lord, whatever it is. You will survive it. Let me say this, you will survive processing what you went through. You will survive facing and processing the trauma you survived. You never know what is on the other side of allowing yourself to process and face and be honest. After 15 minutes, after 20 minutes, you never know. So if you have some things from childhood that you think might be impeding on your life today, I want to encourage you to be courageous and go process it. Go face it in a safe space, in a safe space, in a safe space. If you have something as an adult that has occurred in the last 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, that you look back and you're like, I don't know if I really processed that. Maybe, it's been time. And you realize, I don't think I ever just said I was hurt, I was angry. Same thing. Pray and ask the Lord how to approach that in the safest way. Counseling, a friend, with the Lord, you and the Lord, in a circle, in a support group, whatever it is. Allow yourself to face it. And it may be something silly. Something I had to face is there was a woman years ago. I was talking to a friend at church, and this woman came and interrupted our conversation. And I didn't realize that I was still harboring a little bit of pettiness or resentment towards her. So, like, every time I saw her, I was like, ugh, in my mind. I'm like, what is wrong? And I realized, oh my gosh, I'm still holding on to some kind of resentment because she interrupted a conversation. So I literally had to go to God and release that. God, in that moment, I was irritated that she did that. Let me release this from her. This is too long ago. She meant no harm, or even if she did, it's not a big deal. And I was irritated in that moment. Let me release it. Like, I had to do that. And once I did it, that little bit of residual that was there was gone. So I have a couple questions for you. What feeling have you been trying to explain away instead of allowing yourself to experience it? Second question, where in your life are you telling yourself it's not a big deal when your heart is telling you otherwise? Number three, what might change if you trusted God enough to tell Him exactly how you feel? Allowing yourself to feel is not weakness. We are feeling beings. We are feeling beings. When people say this group is emotional or this group is emotional, we are all emotional beings. Now, might there be some people who are more emotionally intelligent? Yes. Who are able to process the feelings and move with them and do something with them and not run away from them? Yes. Stop running away from your feelings. Feel them, process them in a safe way, in an appropriate way. Ask God to be with you and show you how to do it. Here's your affirmation. I give myself permission to feel what I feel without judgment. My feelings are information, not my identity. As I process honestly, I make room for peace. Feeling isn't weakness. Feeling isn't lack of faith. Feeling isn't losing control. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stop arguing with your emotions long enough to listen to what they're trying to tell you. Feel it, bring it to God, and keep moving. Thank you so much for listening to the Dr. G Speaks podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends and family. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Deuces.